Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, and we are up to our prompt reveal. You would have watched Rachel, I'm assuming, first because she has revealed the prompt, and it was to use a favourite trim, an old trim, just any kind of trim that you like. So I've got a box here of some variety of trims just to give you ideas of things you might want to use. So a lot of these ones are really old ones that Rachel's given me, and then some I've found in other places. So I've got this really chunky one, so much on this one. I have no idea how old this would be, but I'll just unpin it to show you. But I really love this trim. It's very pretty. Look how gorgeous it is. I'm wondering if it's like an Indian trim. But anyway, I can't remember where I got that. I think I got it at a market. I think I got it at Paddington Markets. So that's gorgeous. It's not the right colours. It's a silk fabric, and the pink and green and gold is not the right colours for my project, but that's a gorgeous kind of thing you could use. I'm pretty sure Rach and I found this at a quilt store, didn't we, Rach? And we took half each. Again, not the right colours, but it's gorgeous. It's silk again with some embroidered flowers. Depending on what your project looks like, I have a few of these blingy, pretty Indian trims. Not the right colours, but it's kind of like an organza with embroidery on it and little sequins to give it some bling. For me, not right. These are more modern ones. Very pretty. I really like these types of things. Possibly I was thinking I could use a bit of that. It has got pink, which is not right, but this one maybe, this one no. But anyway, I'm probably not going to use them because I'm thinking of going more vintage. You could use eyelet kind of trims. I love eyelet trims. So these are ones that have been, let me show you. So they start off with like the pattern, and then they stitch it all. So imagine how many stitches are in that. So the end part's not finished, but I love that trim, and I only got a small piece of it. It's not too long. I could use some of that, and here's another gorgeous vintage piece of eyelet trim. Okay, so I could use some of that. I have already used a little bit of this one. This is a wider one. I kind of think of these as trims more than laces. But that's a really gorgeous old one as well. But I've used a bit of that. These ones I think I just got from the second-hand store. Got a bit of gold in them. This isn't a very big bit, but could use a trim like that. Looks like it's maybe reasonably old. And this one as well was an antique. It's actually coming apart. But I kind of like that it's old like that. Again, it's only a small piece. But I could use a piece of, this one's probably more appropriate. Kind of like that section there. But anyway, I'll think about it in a sec. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet. This one is a slightly more modern one as well. I've only got a small piece left of that. And this one too, more modern. Green, so it's the wrong colour. And then all of these ones, I think this one included, these are all from Rach. This one feels a bit newer, but the rest are really old. I've already think I've used a bit of that one. And then look at this, it's so beautiful. It's really come off an old piece of furniture or a garment, but it's green, so it's not going to be right for mine. This one here's got a bit of pink. Same pattern, those ones. And that's a smaller version. This one, that's just a piece of it, like it's old. You can see it's stained. But I like that. I might use a piece of that. And I like this one too, which I thought I could use a piece of. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing yet. I'm just going to have a look, get my piece out, play around, see if any of these will work for me. I'm definitely thinking I want to use a piece of the gold. I'm just going to put out the ones, maybe a piece of the blue. Have I already used the blue? I think I've used that blue. Maybe I've used that one and not this one. Whoops, sorry, bumped you. I'm thinking this and maybe some eyelet trim. So let's put this to the side. That one I've already used. So some kind of combination here. That's pretty much what I'm thinking of using, but we'll see. We'll see what evolves. Again, no clear idea in my mind for this one. Sometimes I'm very clear on what I'm doing, and then sometimes I'm not quite sure. So let's just put them to the side, and I'll get out my piece. I have not quite finished my top border yet. There's bits pinned and all over the place. But I'm liking how this is looking so far. So I have to decide where I'm going to put some trims. I've got lots of spaces, but we do have more. I've got that big space there, but we've got more prompts coming up, and I could also put that really big embroidery there if I want to. Oh, there we go. I have used that dark trim. I'm thinking maybe I'm going to continue a little bit down here and just do some strips of trims. Let me have a look. So I like the gold because I've already got some gold there, and this is a very old piece. It's all tattered and tangled, and like what's going on with that's looped around. I like the flower, so I'm thinking I could do a bit of the flower. Where's my big scissors here? Okay. Thinking I want it the width of what I've got there already. Trim that off. Okay, now let's see what we can play around with. Gotta do a bit of the eyelet trim. Straight. You can always keep these little bits, they can come in handy later. So it doesn't matter that I've just saying if that one's too wide, I could come down to the narrower one. So I'm thinking of just layering them down. I think I like the other one. Within this space. So what I'd do is I'd layer it up a bit. So we've already got a trim there, trim here. Bit of blue trim maybe. I don't think I'll put that one. Well, the other thing I thought, I'm not going to use this one on this, but you could also do bobble trim. This is an old bit of bobble trim. What I think I might do, so I've got my little bits here underneath this one because you can see through it with the red. I was thinking of layering a little scrap of fabric under. Or I could, actually that might look a bit better. Put the blue in the middle. Yeah. They're quite big bits. I'm still thinking. I'm not fully decided what I want to do. My other option could be not to keep making this piece come down long. Let me have a look over here. could be just to add some bits over here. Or even to cut it down smaller, I might try that. It's not so wide and taking up so much space because there are more prompts to come. And like I said, little bits are fine because you will use them up. Yeah, I think maybe smaller. I'm going to run it in a different direction. Let's see what this could look like. Yeah, I don't mind that, but I still think maybe I'll run a bit of fabric under that so you can see it's not just the creamy colour underneath. All right, so I'm going to turn off the camera, go and have a look for some fabric, see if there's anything I want to put under there. Okay, I'll be back soon. Okay, so what I've done so far is I've stitched down the fabric underneath, the trim, a selvage, and another trim, and I'm going to put another selvage across here. I will just show you simply how I've stitched these down. Now, just pin it. Okay, so pinned it down, and all I do is I've been doing an overcast stitch, so just coming up and over the edge like you've seen me do a million times before. So I just stitch it down in place, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer another trim along the bottom, and then I think I'll do a little bit of embellishing. So it's kind of like a cluster, another cluster. I've done a few, but it's a cluster of trims this time. Okay, so just coming up and getting a few of the fibres and then going down through. I'm just using plain white machine cotton, nothing fancy. Very windy outside. It's a hot day today. What do we get up to? Like about 35 or something degrees Celsius, that is. That's hot. For September it is for us. We are only in autumn, not long out of winter. What am I saying? Not autumn. Autumn doesn't come after winter. Sorry, we're only just in spring, I meant to say. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, so we're only just in early spring, as other people are in early autumn. Now, we've had quite a hot week this week. I think it's this wind here is a southerly change, and it's going to cool things down. It'll be much cooler tomorrow. So my son had his final day of school today. Essentially, I guess it's like his graduation. We don't do like graduations in cap and gown. Well, some schools do. My friend's daughter wore a cap and gown today at her school, but we don't do that at my school. We have a chapel service in the morning because our school's a Presbyterian school. Then they have a final assembly where they walk across stage and they get their graduation certificate, and they get an old boys tie, old boy of the college. They're now old boy, classed as old boys. And then after the assembly, which is super long, it's about 2 hours long, they all went down to the pub with the parents for lunch, and I had to teach a class. I had to go do that first, and then I went down after. which is quite nice to chat to a few of the parents, a few of my old friends, people that I knew before our kids were at Scott's together. A lot of them because our sons played rugby when they were little and I coached them. That's how I got to know these mums and dads. So I've got 2 more days left of school myself, but Jamie's done and now he's got 3 to 4 weeks of study time preparing for those final exams. And last night he did his uni applications. You have to put in what your choices of uni degrees and which universities you want to go to. So he had to pick 5 choices. So I got all that done last night, which was pretty easy. And then he does his exams and he waits for his results. But he's actually taking a year off. He's, I think I've told you before, he's got a job working at my school, but at our outdoor ed campus, the one that he went to when he was in year 9. He'll work down there for a year. Comes home in holidays. Also does get a couple of days off each week, so he'll be able to come home a bit. But that's what he'll be doing, and then the year after he'll go to uni. So a year of life experience and earning some money, and then he can get himself into uni. So you actually do apply now, and if you get in, you can defer your offer into the uni for a year. So he's hoping to do a Bachelor of Design, essentially, really focusing on graphic design. There's also a good course that's like a double degree, Bachelor of Design and Bachelor in Media or something, where because he's really into movies and cinematography and stuff like that, so he could kind of combine the 2 things. Yeah, so we'll see where that goes. Hopefully he gets in. There's different options though. Some are higher marks, some are lower marks. I don't think I'll have trouble getting into some of the courses. Hopefully he gets into the top ones that he wants. All right, so almost done stitching around this. And then I'm going to add my last trim, which is going across here. And then what I'll do is I will show you what I'm thinking for a little bit of embellishing, but I'll do the embellishing next week. All right, so this is the last trim. I want to sew on across the bottom there. Pin it in place. And I'm going to come along this edge. Once I've got this edge down, I can remove the pins and they're out of my way. Quite thick. Okay. This trim's thick. It's got some layers of threads. And then I'm also coming through 2 other layers of fabric as well, so it's quite, and that's actually, that selvage is stiff. I love selvages with a little writing. It's good putting in little bits of selvage, a few fabrics. Certainly not something that I'd be throwing away. Especially old ones like that, older types of fabrics rather than new. All right, I'm going to finish stitching this off camera because it's pretty boring just watching me stitch and I'm not really talking. So I'll just show you one thing I'm going to do. I've got some seam binding, navy blue, and what I thought I'd do, where's the end of it? Here. What I thought I'd do is maybe gather it up along there and stitch a bit, or yeah, I think I'll do it there because there's a bit of a white space there. So I'll do that next week. I might do some little bits of embroidery on it as well next week. But I won't bore you while I just stitch around that because it's pretty simple. But that is my little trim cluster. Using some old trims. That's an old one, definitely a very old one. And little thread there. And this is an older one, not a super old like this one. And this is old too. So mostly old trims. And as you can see, you can use whatever types of things you want. You don't have to use old, you can use new. All right, so I will get on with finishing this, and so I'll be ready for that to be done next week. It won't take me too long to stitch around it. And then I'll do a bit of embellishing on this next week. All right, thanks for watching, and we hope you have fun with this prompt. Okay, bye.